All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Right, everyone, welcome to the other side of the coin. It's an absolute madness at the moment, what's going on. But before we get into all of this, I've got Dave Azapati. He's one of the members of Talking Wolves. I believe you're the presenter. You've got your own YouTube channel as well, Dave Azapati. My man, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Hope you're all well too.
Yeah. Look, I'm a bit under the weather for the past couple of days, but I am getting better now. With the new manager and whatnot, the upbeat in the fan base is crazy at the moment. Look, let's get straight into it because it's interesting. We've got the game coming up less than 24 hours away, to be honest now. So what I want to ask you first up, I know you're stressed for time, so I want to get a lot of Wolves information from you as much as I can before I sort of take over at the end. What's the feel like? Because I know you guys, the form hasn't been that great in recent times. In fact, your last victory was against us. Where I don't really want to remember that game. Potence and Pedro Neto absolutely did us at the end. But were you guys sort of thinking when Lampard was still around that perhaps you're a massive shot, and now with the appointment of Tuchel, do you feel that, oh my God, like these guys could really come out firing with a new manager, or do you have the same feeling that, you know what, we can probably get Chelsea?
I always go into every game quite confident, regardless of our form and so on anyway. I think I probably would have been slightly more confident if Lampard was still in charge, only because, we've seen it historically. When a new manager comes in, the teams get that new manager bounce, the morale shoots up, and, they seem to hit a good run of form. Hopefully we catch Chelsea sort of on a quiet one because, a new manager coming in possibly doesn't know everything that he needs to know about the new team and new squad. But yeah, it's like you said earlier on, it's been a strange season for Wolves. We've been unfortunate with injuries, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit. And the form as a whole just hasn't been fantastic. We got promoted to the Premier League 2 years ago. I've had 2 7th place finishes, and this season we found some difficulties really, and probably not hitting the heights and getting the results that we would want. So I think this season's been a little bit of a write-off for Wolves. Hopefully we could just stay out of any relegation trouble and just try and focus on improving for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and then let's touch on that a little bit because I wanted to talk about expectation for Wolves because honestly, Dave, I've got massive respect for your club, Wolves. Like, I love the way you guys play. You know, how Nuno sets up with 3-5-2. That's how he used to. I know we saw a little bit of different formation this season midway through. I think it was gone with perhaps a 4-3-3 at certain times, even a 4-4-2. What's the real expectation for this season? Now, is it really for the remainder of the season just avoid relegation? Is that what it is?
I think so. It's just to have, like I said, because of the injuries and so on, I don't mean this season has gone as planned at all. I think Wolves are one of the clubs, and there are a few in the Premier League that are really missing the presence of the fans. I think Liverpool are one of them. I think Sheffield United as well, massively. Yeah, you've seen sort of after the restart with ourselves, we were in a great position. I think we were alongside you, Manchester United and Leicester, knocking on the door for top 4. And, the restart came about and we just sort of dipped and we threw it away on the last game of the season, actually, against you guys. We've been missing that really. But I think the rest of the season now, we've brought in a new striker recently, which, again, I'm sure we'll talk about. But I think, the rest of the season now, the plan is just to try and just make sure we don't get dragged into any sort of relegation battle and just try and finish as high as we can in the league and possibly going on an FA Cup run as well. I think top 6, top 7 is probably out of the question this year. But if we can stay competitive in the Premier League and possibly go on a nice little FA Cup run, that'd be fantastic.
No, for sure, man. Looks like, there's still a little bit for you guys to still play. But yeah, as you said, you probably expect a little bit better, but injuries and whatnot it really hampered that. Red Pill, thanks for that information, man. Arsenal officially above us, man. I can't believe this, Dave. These guys were so far behind us. And obviously with our form in December and the early part, still the parts of January. And now finally Arsenal has caught up to us. I'm pretty sure they've probably beaten Southampton. I haven't seen the score.
3-1, I think they finished.
3-1, wow. So these guys are now above us. We have to win this against you guys. Or else we will not hear the end of it with the Arsenal fans. But man, let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about the new appointment with Thomas Tuchel coming in. there's absolute pandemonium at the moment in our fan base. Obviously we haven't been playing that well. I just want to quickly ask, and I've been asking this to all of my sort of opposition fans that come in, and we do the previews together. What was your thoughts from a rival fan point of view about Frank Lampard and his tenure at Chelsea and his appointment, I suppose, to managers? What was your perspective from a Wolves point of view?
Well, when he got the jobs, when it sort of started last season, I was very surprised, if I'm honest, that he got that job so quickly. I think in England at the moment as a whole, in the Premier League, I think a lot of teams now are trying to get these younger managers in or ex-players in. We'll probably eventually see someone like Gerrard go to Liverpool and so on. But I think Chelsea were quite quick to get Lampard in. But saying that, he surprised me with how well he did last season. I mean, he beat Wolves comfortably both games last season as well. And he got a really good finish. And I think with such a limited budget or lack of budget, and you weren't even allowed to sign players. So I felt he did really well with that. And then obviously this summer he's gone wild with the spending, whether that be him or sort of the board or whatever, signing these players. So straight away that chucked a load of pressure on him. If I'm honest, I think they were a little bit too premature to sack him, but at the same time, we know what Abramovich is like and how he's been historically. So, yeah, I've seen a couple of Chelsea fans or spoke to a couple of Chelsea fans over the last couple of days. The ones I've spoke to aren't too happy with the situation, but I think in terms of the appointment of Tuchel, he's done well at the last couple of his clubs. Got PSG to the Champions League final quite recently. So I think it's a good appointment for you. And I think as a fellow German, he might be able to get the likes of Havertz and Timo Werner finally striking and firing.
No, absolutely. And he's got, previous connections with Pulisic and Thiago Silva being the captain in PSG.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's a lot of connection there. There's a really interesting comment here, and I want to talk about this with you. Not convinced on Nuno, to be honest. I think Allegri is needed. Will take the Wolves to next level. How is the fan base in regards to Nuno at the moment? I mean, do you guys feel that? Are you guys moving forward, or where is it at the moment? The feel towards your manager?
It's really strange, actually. It's probably a 50-50 split. There's probably maybe a little bit more in favour of Nuno at the moment. But you'll be surprised, there are a lot of fans that aren't happy and actually calling for him to go, which obviously it's tough in football and it's such a fickle sport because, where we were this time 4 years ago doesn't even compare to now. And Nuno got us promoted so comfortably from the Championship, got us two seventh place finishes, and now the first season is really struggling, not really had luck on his side. All his family live in Portugal, his wife, his children.
Wow.
So, he's been without them. And in the UK, you can't travel to or from Portugal at the moment. So for him personally as well, it's been really difficult. But like I say, a lot of fans are jumping on his back at the moment. Fortunately, I'm very much in the Nuno in camp. I think he deserves a lot more time because of what he's given to the club, and I can't see anybody else out there at the moment that is either available or would come to Wolves that could improve our situation. I know that there was a shout for Allegri there, but I just can't see. I wouldn't see him joining Wolves at all, if I'm honest, just because I think his level would be above Wolves, and I couldn't really see him coming to England either. So, yeah, there's definitely it's not all rosy for Nuno, but I think there's a lot more fans backing him at the moment than there are wanting him out.
No, absolutely, man. As I said, I really admire the kind of work that Nuno has done with Wolves in the sense that you guys don't have massive budgets like some of the big clubs. So, he's done some really good recruitments. And let's talk about some of these players. First of all, Raul Jimenez, what's the situation like for him at the moment? I know he had the bad injury, maybe a couple of months ago. Is he now fit and back and training with the team and could possibly feature against us?
No, I think he's still a long way off, to be fair. But he had that bad injury, and Wolves were very, very quiet about what was like his current situation. Really, he's back in sort of light training. I think he's doing fitness work and so on. But in terms of training with team, I don't think he's back doing any of that sort of stuff. Saying that though, Nuno did. There was an article released just before we went live. Nuno talking about the situation, and Nuno sounds hopeful that he'll be back before the end of the season, which is good news. There are a lot of fans worrying that we wouldn't see him till next season or wouldn't see him at all because of this, how serious it was. But I think I read up a lot on Petr Cech's injury all those years ago because I think it was a similar sort of instance. And Cech came back, I'm not going to say really quick, but a lot sooner than what I think people expected. So I'm hoping Nuno will probably be a similar sort of time frame. And maybe in the next month or so, we could see him back in training. But it'd be a huge boost for Wolves because we've really, really missed him.
Do you think that's probably one of the biggest factors of your up and down sort of form at the moment? Because I've seen a couple of Wolves games, right? And I feel like you guys are always in the game. You guys are always putting the hard yards. You got some really good attacking players defensively and in midfield as well, with the likes of, Neves and Moutinho and a few other people, and even in your defense, Sayas. You look like you're always there. Do you feel it's probably that striking position that, with Fabio coming in, probably hasn't fired either? There's just too much reliance on probably Podence and Neto to carry the team?
Yeah, 100%. We would be in a completely different position if we had Raul Jimenez still. Like you say, we signed Fabio Silva, but he was never meant to be the first team striker this season. He was going to be someone, I know it was a lot of money, but someone to be in and around the squad and sort of slowly bed him in over the next 2 or 3 years. And then obviously Jimenez got injured. We weren't really prepared. We haven't been for the last 2 or 3 years, really. Jimenez has been our only sort of proper number 9. And everybody has worried the last 2 years, what if he gets injured? What if? And we've been quite lucky that he hasn't until obviously this year. So, we've had to heavily rely on Fabio Silva. We've had a couple of games where they've played without a striker completely and tried almost like a false 9 or someone like Pedro Neto or Podence up front. But that has been a huge factor. But also defensively, the last 2 years we've been fantastic and our clean sheet numbers are great. But this year in the league, probably off the top of my head, we haven't kept a clean sheet in about 10, 11 games plus. So I know Nuno is known to be quite a defensive manager, and the fact that we're conceding just sloppy goals, really, we have to really address it. But a lot of that is probably to do with what you said earlier on, because we've been messing about with formations. We've been trying the back 4, which seems a good idea. A lot of fans warmed to that quickly because we just showed a lot more going forward, but it was so leaky defensively. And that's why I think he'll go a little bit more defensive against Chelsea tomorrow, just to try and tighten up on that to make sure we don't concede sloppy goals.
Yeah. I mean, look, I was in other streams for the past couple of days, and in my own streams as well in my channel. I've been saying that post Lampard has been sacked, that whoever the next manager, obviously we knew straight away that it was Tuchel that was coming in. I was sort of upbeat that I feel like with the new manager and the boost that you get with the new manager, and Tuchel is technically so sound as well. Like the kind of work that he's done for Dortmund, the kind of work that he's done for PSG, and the caliber of players that he's managed, I feel very confident moving into this particular game. I'm not going to kid you, Dave. Like, obviously, when Frank was around, I was a bit worried that how we're going to approach this match, because I just saw that few of the players were just not putting the hard yards anymore. They just stopped believing in what Frank was sort of, I suppose, trying to implement to the team. But man, Look, I know he's had his first training session to Thomas Tuchel this evening. There was pictures with him and Pulisic. There was a comment here. I just saw that Pulisic is injured. Look, I don't know whether that's true or not. I know there's some news been coming around, but we've seen some pictures of Pulisic with Thomas Tuchel in the training ground. So look, all I can sort of say that he's possibly still fit, and even if he isn't, we've got plenty of players in the wings area to cover for that for the time being. But let's move on to this match, Dave. You've sort of said that you probably think that Wolves are going to sit sort of defensively more structured. Are you somewhat sort of worried about this match right now with perhaps the German players, in the sense of Werner, Kai Havertz, and some of the all the issues that we've had in recent times in midfield? We've been leaking in goals as well, man. Just like you guys, we've been leaking. And we thought this season that we were actually going to get more stronger in defense, but in recent times we've been leaking goals. Are you guys? What's the feel in the fan base at the moment? Are you guys a bit worried moving into this Chelsea game?
There's not been much said, to be honest. There's not been a huge build-up for it. I think a lot of the focus has been put on you guys, really. So I think that has almost possibly helped Wolves in a way, because obviously the limelight is off us, and obviously the pressure, I think, is a little bit more on Tuchel to try and hit the ground running. But I like I said earlier, I always like to be positive. There are some people on my match preview that don't feel the same way, and I think they'll take a draw now. But like you say, it'll be sod's law that Tuchel gets the likes of Werner and Havertz firing straight away. But I think they need that. I think they need someone they know, they're familiar with. And for Chelsea as a whole, I think it will be a good appointment. I know a lot of probably the Chelsea fans that, watched Frank Lampard for all those years, will be disappointed. But Tuchel's got good experience at, like you said, at high levels with high quality players. So it could be good for you. But I think it could work in Wolves' favour that all the limelight's been taken off us. And obviously the pressure's on Chelsea.
No, 100%. I think, look, for us, it's a must-win game if we want to continue on in the pursuit of top four. Some of the guys have already mentioned that Arsenal have gone in front of us, so it's a bit crazy. Dave, let's get straight into the whole lineup formation. First, let's talk about who are some of the notable sort of players that are possibly out for this particular match for you guys.
So obviously Jimenez, who we've already spoke about, Daniel Podence at the moment I think won't be available.
Really?
He's been injured for a few weeks, to be fair, and just there's been no real timeline on when his return will be. There was a press conference today and it wasn't mentioned once, but normally Wolves UK time release some information about 10:30. So in the next 15 minutes or so, I may know more on that. But yeah, I don't think he'll be available. Marçal as well. He's been injured he's still out for another couple of weeks. He's been in and out of the team. And I think, and Johnny, who's still been injured sort of throughout the whole of the season, but hopefully he'll be back soon. But yeah, main ones really, attacking wise, is still Jimenez and Podence out as well at the moment.
Man, Podence is going to be a big miss because he, honestly, I don't know about you, he gives me Hazard vibes. The way he moves, his movement, it's so close to the ground, the center of gravity. I've seen a couple of Wolves games this season, especially our one, of course. And the way he moves and dribbles past players is very much Hazard-esque. Obviously, Hazard, no disrespect to Podence, but Hazard was like a few steps above, obviously. Yeah. But do you guys sort of feel that way about Podence as well, that when you look at him, that, oh my God, this guy moves and swifts around just like Eden Hazard?
Yeah, it's strange because he's so small as well. He's only sort of, I think, 5'4" or something like that. But when he gets going, he's so quick and so difficult. And I think you guys saw it when we played you. Like some of his skill and flair on the ball is unbelievable. And we've just seen a couple of the goals he scored. Obviously, the goal against yourselves. He scored a goal against Arsenal where he's sort of on goal and he scoops the ball over the defender's legs and then just sort of taps into an empty net. And you're just like, who thinks of stuff like that? So there have been comparisons with Hazard. Obviously, we know how good Hazard was and still is. He's been a big miss for Wolves just going forward recently. We haven't had that flair because he's quite an aggressive player as well, very passionate in what he does and how he plays. So I think Wolves have definitely missed that over the last few weeks.
No, 100%. Really good commentary from Oman Ali. Podence times Neto is the sauciest link up in the league. Love watching them play. Man, you guys, honestly, are you guys somewhat worried that perhaps a couple of these two players possibly could get snapped up in the future?
I think Neto, definitely. Neto has just gone on to another level this year. He's been our best player. If you ask most Wolves fans who their player of the season has been so far, it would be Neto. Obviously, with the absence of Jimenez, Adama is just not consistent enough at the moment. I think Neto's just been consistent, a threat, offers, I think in terms of sort of chances created, he's one of the highest in the league. So, he's been unbelievable. And I think there'll be some big clubs looking at him come the summer.
No, for sure. Before I get into the whole formation side of things for you guys, and then obviously, guys, just to let you know that Dave does need to leave a bit early, but I'm going to still stick around and continue on with the Chelsea preview, give my thoughts about Thomas Tuchel and how possibly we could set up. I don't know exactly how we're going to set up because it's all up in the air. It's a new manager. I could possibly think how he may set up. So, yeah, stick around for that. But Dave, just quickly, as I said before we go to your formations and lineups, William Jose, I think that's how you pronounce this new guy. Expect him to start against us. And also give us a little bit of a background on this particular player because not many know about him.
Yeah, so he's coming on loan from Real Sociedad in Spain. He's currently on a loan deal. And I think we've got an option to buy him for just under £25 million in the summer if we wish to. I don't think he'll be in the squad for tomorrow's game, only because I know he's only travelled to England this evening and he's got to have his sort of final medical checks and stuff tomorrow. So He may be on the bench, but I think there's a very, very slim chance of that because he's not trained with the club or whatever. So I think he'll be back in the squad come the weekend against Crystal Palace for Wolves. But him as a player, he's probably quite similar to Jimenez, really. He's got a lot of comparisons to Diego Costa in the type of player he is as well. So he's not ultra quick or anything like that, but his hold-up play, just very aggressive. But on the ball, he can really strike a ball as well. Like, so with his goals, the power he gets behind.
Does he have that personality like Costa as well? That sort of mongrel in him?
I hope not for some reason. I mean, we were linked to Costa a lot, and I think a lot of people were scared about that yellow and red card sort of situation. But I don't know. He may do, but I don't think, like from what I've seen, I don't think he's as sort of aggressive or dirty, you could say, as Costa. But yeah, he's got some similarities to those. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how he can get on. I think he's a proper striker. Be massive for Wolves.
No, for sure, man. As you guys said, Raul Jimenez has been a massive miss for you guys. Before we let you go, my man, your formation and lineup, let us know all the secrets about Wolves so I can pass it on to Thomas Tuchel.
I think we'll go back to the back five tomorrow. We had a disastrous result a couple of weeks ago against West Brom, and then we only just scraped past the sort of sixth tier side in the FA Cup last week. So Nuno did start with a back five in that game. I think probably to get us prepared for this game. So I think it'll be like a 3-4-3 type formation or 5-2-3. I think we'll see Patricio in goal, Aït-Nouri at left wing back, the young French lad.
He's good, man. He's good. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's still very young. I think at times you can tell he's inexperienced, but it'll be interesting for him because I think now, we've got Marcel still like in and around the squad. Obviously, he's injured at the moment, and then Johnny coming back very soon. I think Aït-Nouri's just got to step up his game slightly just to make sure he keeps his place in the team. Really, again, he's only on loan, but Wolves have got an option to buy in the summer. So if he wants Wolves to activate that, I think he needs to step up his game. Nelson Semedo at right wing back for Wolves. Centre backs, I'd probably say Connor Cody in the middle, and then Willy Bolly and Romain Saiss either side of him. Midfield two, I'd probably say Ruben Neves and Leander Dendoncker. João Moutinho's just been struggling the last few weeks or so. Maybe this season's catching up on him slightly. I think he's past his best now, unfortunately. So he's not been fantastic this year. And then probably Pedro Neto on the left, Adama Traoré on the right, and then I think we'll see Fabio Silva up front. We may go with Patrick Catrone, but I think Silva will get the nod ahead of Catrone.
Looks like Adama Traoré, as you said, with Podence, out. He's going to come in, man. That guy, honestly, the way he was a massive influence for you guys the last time you guys played us off the bench. He came on and he literally took he attracted at least 2 or 3 defenders on him and allowed for Neto and Podence to just basically run amok in the second half. So I'm hoping he doesn't do that against us again. Just quickly before we let you go, what's your score prediction, man?
I always like to back my own team. I'm going to back Wolves again, but I'll go with a 2-1 Wolves win.
Fair enough. I mean, is that from your heart or your mind?
That's definitely from my heart. My head, I don't know. But like I said earlier, it'll just be interesting because I think the pressure is on Tuchel to try and get a result straight away, and it'll be interesting to see how much of an impact this evening's training has had on his team at all, or if he's going to be taking advice from the existing staff at the club. So, I think it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. But like I say, Wolves have been on really poor form. We really need a win sooner rather than later. Yeah,
you guys are honestly. I'm very surprised at where you guys are in terms of the league position and your form. But my man, thank you so much for your time. Do appreciate it and all the insight that you've given us for the Wolves. I'll definitely catch you sometime around very, very soon, I'm sure. No problem. Any last words before you go?
Well, thanks for having me. Best of luck with the new manager, and may the best team win.
For sure. I've got all of Dave's socials in the description, guys. Please follow him. Do still stick around because I'll be talking about Thomas Tuchel and our sort of lineups and formation and whatnot. But Dave, thank you so much, man.
Thanks a lot, man. See you soon. Cheers.
Take care. Bye. Guys, hope that was an interesting insight from the Wolves' point of view. Look, honestly, I'm not, for some reason, I'm not worried for this particular match. I don't know I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I'm very upbeat. I was in Matisse's channel. I'm pretty sure you guys already know Matisse, and I've been saying it in my channel as well. I won't be one bit surprised if we actually go on a bit of a run now. You know, whether you call it honeymoon period or whatever you want to call it, I just feel like with the new manager, you know, coming in, and obviously now, you know, Thomas Tuchel has been confirmed by the club a few hours ago, earlier today, and he's already held the first session, training session with the boys. And, you know, I feel like he'll connect very, very quickly. He knows some of these players from before anyway. Let's take some of these comments. Guys, keep throwing in comments. If you've got any questions, we'll take them. We've got a comment here. Who are the existing staff? Look, I don't know about the backroom stuff. All I know that Frank, obviously, along with Jody Morris, they've gone. I think Joe Edwards is still around with Anthony Barry. But I'm pretty certain that, you know, Thomas Tuchel is probably going to bring in his backroom staff and his assistant managers. You know, it only makes sense that he brings his people. I haven't read the articles yet as to what he's doing in the background, but, you know, I can only imagine that that's exactly what he's going to do. So, yeah, going back to my confidence, got a comment here from Football Star. Confidence will win this game. Honestly, that's how I feel. And I feel it's not just this game. I feel like, as I said, that we could possibly go on and beat, I mean, we should be beating Burnley, no disrespect to them, and even Spurs. I just feel like with Thomas Tuchel and the tactical information that he's going to provide us throughout this time now. And I know a lot of people have said that, look, we need time. He's not just going to come in here and just, you know, get his mojo up and running straight away. And I get that. But I feel, you know, players having that belief on a particular manager who has, you know, immense experience throughout Dortmund, PSG, and the kind of work that he did in Dortmund. I had Leas earlier on today talking about Tuchel and how he plays his football. He likes to play with, you know, a defensive midfielder that is quite capable of ball playing. You know, is still physical, still athletic. So, you know, look, there's some information going around that perhaps Jorginho might come back into the frame. And guys, don't be surprised if he does. He may not fit the mold of, you know, physicality and chasing the ball, but he definitely fits the mold of, you know, someone who's able to link up with the centre backs and really spray those passes, one-touch passes as quickly as possible. So someone like Jorginho could find himself back. Personally, wouldn't mind seeing Billy Gilmore back, to be honest, because I feel like Billy Gilmore brings all of that passing range that Jorginho brings, but at the same time, he's got that physicality, a little bit more physicality and that athleticism to run around, which I feel, you know, someone like Tuchel would really, really appreciate. And, you know, we shouldn't forget the fact that Thomas Tuchel was interested in Jorginho to get him into PSG not that long ago. So, you know, Leas was also saying earlier on that he likes to play with his wingers more sort of inside forwards. They're not really wingers that are hugging the touchline in the likes of, you know, in PSG or even in Dortmund. In PSG, obviously, Angel Di Maria and even Mbappe, who sort of plays as an inside forward when they used to have Cavani. And yeah, like I'm really excited to see what's going to transpire in regards to Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic. Some news going around that Pulisic might be injured. Guys, let me know if there is actually some legitimate news, because I haven't seen any latest news come from any sort of proper publication saying that he's actually injured. So please let me know in the comments if you guys have seen anything. But for me, I've you know, there's some pictures going around of Pulisic is training alongside you know, Thomas Tuchel in the first session. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how our wingers play. Apparently, it's going to be more of an inside forward situation. You know, perhaps it might be Pulisic on the left or even Callum Hudson-Odoi. It'd be interesting to see how Hakim Ziyech plays as an inside forward, because Hakim Ziyech likes to be very wide, but then he likes to come in. So it'd be very interesting to see how he fits in and how Thomas Tuchel uses someone like Hakim Ziyech. Obviously, Kai Havertz as well. You know, does he play the similar role as you know, someone like Tammy Abraham for us up front? Does he play up front as a you know, perhaps like a false nine alongside Timo Werner? Or does he play Kai Havertz as a playmaker, you know, similar to what Neymar was sort of playing for PSG? Obviously, Neymar is in a different class, but it'd be very interesting to see how he gets the best out of these Germans, who, honestly, I have complete belief and complete faith in these two players that they're going to start kicking in. Obviously, they haven't been doing so well in the last couple of months throughout our bad form. So, guys, I'm really pumped, and we're gonna see exactly what our fullbacks bring, because apparently in his style, the fullbacks are really the wingers. So in the likes of Chilwell, in the likes of Reece James, I would really want to see how we incorporate them into our game. And I want to see us not implement a cross and hope sort of playing style. And I feel hopefully Tuchel will make us very, very dynamic and defensively. He's got his man back, Thiago Silva, which is going to be very, very interesting. He's got very good connections with him. And I would like to see what he does with Zuma and Rudiger. Does he bring in Rudiger? Because Rudiger was rumored with PSG. We've seen Rudiger featuring the last few games. So it will be interesting to see whether he takes in someone like Zuma, who I feel, is very much in the mold of Kimpembe for him in PSG. So it'll be interesting to see. Let me know what your thoughts are and how you think we're going to line up. But guys, yeah, look, I've never... Look, the whole Frank Lampard tenure, guys, it's been an emotional ride. Obviously, it was such a pandemonium when he got into the side, and it was great feelings, a lot of emotions. The whole Sarri season took a lot out of us at the end of it, and Frank Lampard coming in, and he did a fantastic job in the first season. Transfer ban, youth being integrated into the team, and youth having such value now. These guys have become assets for us. But this season, with the kind of money that Roman Abramovich has spent for our squad, we should be a lot higher than where we are. And that's the honest truth. At the end of the day, Frank, I feel like the results killed him. So, whether you want to talk about players and fringe players that cause a lot of rift in the team, I mean, sure, they might have played a little bit of a part, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to Frank playing his cards. Frank talked about, Andres Villas-Boas. There's that famous quote that's going around in social media where he said that, none of the players are to be blamed for Villas-Boas' dismissal. Villas-Boas played his cards and it didn't work out. And I feel like this is what happened for Frank as well. And Frank goes on to say back then, when Villas-Boas was terminated, that, perhaps this opportunity came a bit too early in his inexperience. So, look, I feel like this is probably what happened to Frank Lampard, and you never know. Hopefully, he goes on and gets that experience, and one day he could possibly come back. But right now, I am so gassed with Thomas Tuchel. Honestly, I feel like the squad that we have one of the best squads, and I kid you not. I know we haven't been playing that well, but let me know in your comments, man. Honestly, I feel like we have such a devastating squad. We could match with the likes of Liverpool. We could match with the likes of Man City. We just needed a very, very experienced manager that can handle all of these talent and take these players into the level that we need to be. And I feel like Thomas Tuchel could possibly do that. So yeah, guys, I'm really, really excited about this situation, and I cannot wait for us to start tomorrow. There's some news that he's going to be in the dugouts. He's going to be somewhere in Stamford Bridge. I don't know how much tactical information, or whether he's going to be absolutely within the team. But there's some quotes coming out that he is definitely going to be present, and he wants to take full responsibility of whatever happens in the match. And I love that attitude. This guy has come in and put his stamp and authority in the team straight away, saying that he wants to take full responsibility. Let's read some of these comments here before we go into further details of my lineup and formation. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the lineup is going to be. Let's have a look over here. Football Star. First of all, Football Star, thank you so much, man, for all the comments that you've been giving me. Guys, we've got close to 20 people. Let's lift up some of these likes. Let's get it up to at least 20. And please keep smashing in the comments and share with other people, so hopefully more can join in. Football Star, I think our defense will be sharp. Look, it has to be. I feel like with Anthony Barry in, with all the defensive we've got a new keeper, we've got Thiago Silva, we've got Ben Chilwell. We should be far better defensively. We've just let in too many goals. I think our midfield, it has to play a big part in recent times for our defensive issues. And I hope this is the other thing that I want to see from Thomas Tuchel is to how he manages our midfield and gets the best out of them, because our midfield in the last couple of months has been made to look like they're useless, and they're not. And the other key factor is I want to see how he uses Mason Mount. A lot of people have been saying that Mason Mount is going to be for sure confirmed starter. I'm not really sure about that, as much as Mason Mount has been one of our best players over the last couple of months throughout this bad form. He finished off the Frank Lampard tenure with captaincy, which was a nice touch. But I don't know how much this is going to be an absolute situation where he's 100% going to start. So I want to see how Tuchel develops our midfield, gets the likes of Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, and whoever else is there in our midfield. And I really want to see what he does with Mason as well. Is it all going to be about pressing? I know Tuchel loves to press. His off-the-ball movement is fantastic as well. So I want to see exactly what he gets out of Mason Mount, because technically is something that I feel Mason needs to develop. I know he's still young and he will develop, but technicality is where I want Mason to start developing. Let's go on to the next commentary. Eli, I don't want Jorginho anywhere near the starting lineup. Look, Eli, and this is the bit of information that I want to give to you guys, that don't have this sort of feel that you want to shut off any player. Look, these players haven't been that good, but it's a new manager. It all comes down to system. I've been saying it many times. Jorginho, when he was playing in Napoli, or even again when he was playing under Sarri, he wasn't always look like to be a bad player. It's the it's the style of football, it's the formation. Sometimes those things play a massive part in making a player look useless. So don't have that sort of preconceived sort of attitude that, oh no, I don't want him in our team. You don't know how Thomas Tuchel is going to set up, and the way he may set up could possibly be very, very good for Jorginho. And I don't know, maybe it may not be. I'm just saying, just have that open mind that it could possibly be all right, I suppose. Gilmour isn't going on loan. Look, I hope he doesn't. Frank Lampard was saying just before he left that there could be a possibility. I really hope he doesn't, because I think Gilmour has a massive, massive part to play for us in this team. Edward Denham, this is true. The width comes from the fullbacks. That's exactly what I've been saying. Please check out the video that I did with Leas. I'll have it in the description, the link there. Leas honestly put out, he's a Man United fan, but he's done some extensive research on Thomas Tuchel. And he said that this is how Thomas Tuchel plays. He plays with the fullbacks who turn into wingers, because his wingers really become inside forwards. So it'll be very, very good to see. I remember Frank doing this last season at the end, where Mason Mount and Ross Barkley possibly were inside forwards for Giroud up front, and we looked really good against. I remember it was Everton. It was a game against Liverpool as well, where we were looking so good with the inside forward situation and the way we were playing. So I'm really looking forward to this. And exactly as I said, I want to see how our midfield sort of plays in these times as well. Commentary from Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel, the manager, is in the house. Timo, Kai, and Tony starts every game now. Mason and Christian must prove themselves. Look, I think Timo, definitely that's someone probably Thomas Tuchel will pencil him down. I mean, Roman Abramovich, there's a reason why he brought in Thomas Tuchel, and it's purely one of the biggest reasons is for the German players that we have, in the likes of Timo and Kai Havertz. So I'm not going to be one bit surprised that Timo starts playing very regularly or almost every game. Kai Havertz, look, I think it'll be interesting to see where Thomas Tuchel plays him. I get the feeling that he might play as a striker, the kind of role that Tammy Abraham plays. I feel like we sort of say that, Kai Havertz is more of a playmaker. Yeah, sure he is. He's got the great touches. He's got good passing ability. But I feel like he's more of a goal scorer than an assist maker. So, he could be someone who plays as a false nine alongside Timo Werner. And it could be interesting to see. He could possibly play as a 10 as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses them. And Tony Rudiger, look, let's see what happens. This is the other thing. I just hope the fan base, with all the news that's been coming around with Matt Law's, article and whatnot. And I just want to say that, look, guys, take it the way you want to take it. But, these guys still represent Chelsea. So if they start for us, please back them. I don't know what and how much involvement Tony Rudiger would have had in Frank Lampard's sacking. I'm baffled to think that there are certain fans out there that think some of our fringe players in the likes of Tony Rudiger, Kepa, Jorginho, Alonso were the root cause of getting Frank Lampard out. Think about it for a moment from your perspective. How could these players drive away a club legend like Frank Lampard, and how could these players, have so much saying in the board? The board's not going to turn, bend over backwards for these particular players who were fringe players. They were very well known that they were going to go. I can't, you know, honestly, I cannot sit here and imagine that these guys are the ones that were the root cause of getting Frank Lampard out and causing a rift between the teams. I mean, the first team shouldn't be so stupid and naive to allow them to influence them. I mean, if these players, you know, the regular players that are getting the starts, looking at these fringe players trying to cause, you know, havoc, they shouldn't allow them to influence them. Look, it might have played some sort of attribute in this whole chaos that has happened, but I do not think that this was the root cause. So, guys, the bottom line in regards to Rudiger, if he does start, look, I know a lot of people has reservation that they don't want him to start, but if he does start, please just back him. At the end of the day, he's a Chelsea player. If he puts on a performance and if he does everything that is required from him and he does well, then we have nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, we want wins, we want good performances, and if it's Rudiger that's giving us that, we should back the manager and we should back the player. And the manager will know very, very soon who are the players that are performing well, who are the players that are not, who fits in his system, and he will can them. This is the one thing that I'm very positive about Thomas Tuchel, guys, is that I feel he's not going to mess about. You know, he's got a history of headbutting against the hierarchy. So I'm pretty sure they would have had that conversation. And I'm pretty sure that if he finds out that certain players just doesn't fit in his system or in his team that he's trying to build now, that he's taken over, that he has the balls to go out and tell these players that you're not part of my team. And he has the balls to go out and tell the hierarchy that I'm not going to take the crap here. I don't want anything to do with these players because, you know, at the end of the day, I have no plan. So I just hope that he's like that. And I feel like he will be like that. And it's something I feel perhaps Frank Lampard, being inexperienced in this job, probably wasn't, you know, good enough to do that. I could be wrong. I don't know everything in and out of the situation, but I feel like someone like Thomas Tuchel could do that. Let's move on to the next comment here, guys. Tyrone Codner, until I see the system, I won't be confident. Hope he does well as soon as he gets accustomed with other players. Honestly, yeah, look, I completely understand where you're coming from, Tyrone. I mean, I guess I'm gassed in the sense that, you know, at least this guy has history and has got wealth of experience being a manager in Dortmund and in PSG. He's done some really good job in Dortmund. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong here, but I think he won the German Cup against Bayern Munich, and that's no small feat to come up against Bayern Munich and doing that well. You know, he had the likes of Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan at that time, and those guys were some of the best players going around in Europe at that time, and he made them look superstars. So, and PSG, you know, he managed some high-profile players. Then, you know, he won almost everything in PSG. He took them to a Champions League final last season where, honestly, I don't think they were too far off from Bayern Munich. At the end of the day, Bayern Munich just had that extra class and got there. But some key chances, some big chances were actually for PSG. So, you know, that's what I'm confident with, that the kind of caliber of players that we have, you know, I'm confident that Thomas Tuchel will get the best out of these guys and we should get back into the top four. I feel like we should have done far better this season with the kind of caliber players that we have. But, you know, with where we are right now and how, you know, intense the top four race is at the moment, that, you know, anything, for me, the expectation from here on in should just be the top four. Anything above that is really bonus. If we can close the gap with some of the leaders, that'll be bonus. But, yeah, look, I'm confident, Tyrone. I'm confident that, you know, he's going to turn this around for us. Being Natalie, evening all. What are we predicting the lineup might be tomorrow? Okay, let's get straight into this because I haven't talked about this. Look, guys, honestly, it's all up in the air because it's a new manager. So God knows what's going to happen. He's obviously going to, you know, obviously saw them in training. I don't know how much he can make a judgment straight off one training session. And this is probably why that he may not be 100% involved in the team tomorrow. Even though he said that he may be in the dugout, he'll be present. He wants to take full responsibility against Wolves. But honestly, I don't know. It may just be down to Anthony Barry and Joe Edwards sort of coming up with the team. Obviously, you know, Tuchel, they'll probably consult with him, get some advice from him. I feel he may go back to maybe the 4-3-3 or maybe a 4-2-2 sort of situation to get the best out of Timo Werner. I might stick with the 4-2-2 because that was the last formation that Frank played, and I don't know how much that might have played in the essence that maybe they might have known that Tuchel was coming, and maybe that was some of the information that I want to see the team play 4-2-2. I feel like that gets the best out of Timo Werner. So if it is 4-4-2-2-2 formation, let me know what you guys think the formation will be. I think if it's 4-2-2 formation, Mendy in goals, guys, that's undoubtedly it's going to be him. Hopefully, Reece James is 100% fit. He looked fit against Luton in the right back position, and I'd love to see what he does now under Tuchel, because he's going to be playing as a winger more or less, pretty much, and he's going to be up and down. In the centre backs, it will probably be Thiago Silva, and this is a bit of a throw up. I don't know whether it's going to be Rudiger, because he's got massive connections with PSG. He was rumoured to go there, and obviously someone like Tuchel, likes Rudiger. So I want to see. I don't know what's going to happen there. I personally would like to go back to Thiago Silva and Zuma. That combination was working well for us, and I feel like Zuma is the kind of player that could do the role of Kimpembe for Tuchel in PSG. So Reece James, Thiago Silva, Zuma, and Ben Chilwell, and along with Mendy, that's the dynamic back five. We're back again. In the midfield, I don't know whether Kante is fit, so I'm a bit weary about this. If he is fit, I would play Kante. If not, I think we could possibly see Jorginho back in the team. And whether, as I said, guys, don't get upset about this. Just see how this works out. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Billy Gilmour and Mason Mount, because they were the combination that was tried against Luton. But I had reservations as to how is that particular midfield going to fare up against Premier League team. But if Tuchel plays with Billy Gilmour and Mason Mount, I'm not going to be worried at all. I feel like the style and system that he may want to employ could be very good for someone like Billy Gilmour and Mason Mount. Billy will just basically drop deep, help out the centre backs, help out the full backs, build up. Fast passes, none of these sideways passes, really, really quick passes to build up. And hopefully someone like Mason Mount could be box-to-box player for us. And it'd be good to see what sort of game plan Mason has. And does he go back to the wings? And is it just back to the, cross and hope? But does he take more responsibility and looks up and goes for those really threaded passes? It'll be very interesting to see what Mason Mount does and his link up with the forward players and the wingers. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kovacic either who starts. It'll be interesting, guys. Personally, I think it may be Jorginho and Mason Mount, or Billy Gilmour and Mason Mount in the midfield. The two up front, the two wingers, basically the inside forwards, I feel it may be Hakim Ziyech and Callum Hudson-Odoi. There's some rumours about Pulisic being unfit or injured again. But I feel Callum Hudson-Odoi, Thomas Tuchel, he's just come out not that long ago. Just there's some quotes already flying around saying that he really, really is excited with the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi. So I'm pumped as well. I'm pumped that Thomas Tuchel is excited about Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I feel like we're going to see an absolute upgrade in performance from Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was already improving this season, so it'll be very good to see exactly how he takes his game to the next level. So the inside forwards for me will be Hakim Ziyech and Callum Hudson-Odoi, both sort of coming in. Hakim Ziyech, it'll be perfect for him. He'll sort of roam around in the number 10 spot, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, he could drift outside or he could come in. And it'll be more link-ups with the midfield and the forwards, and they'll be far more compact in the middle, and it'll feel like we will not be dominated by the opposition midfield, which has been the case of the last few months. And hopefully the wing backs give us the width, being the wingers, really. So up front for me, it'll probably be, or not probably, I think 100% this is one position that I'm quite confident that it'll be Timo Werner. And the other one, look, how can you drop Tammy Abraham after scoring a hat-trick? I would give him that sort of assurance to start again with Timo Werner. That combination really did look good, and I feel like someone like Tammy Abraham will get the best out of Timo Werner as well. And Timo Werner, it'll be like the Leipzig days where he has a striker up front to play alongside him, and he loves to roam around, and it feels like he's at his most lethal best when he has that figurehead up front in the sense of Tammy Abraham. And Tammy Abraham is so humble and he's so nice about the whole Timo Werner situation and how he's not scoring goals. I feel like it could be really, really complimentary. I'm not going to be surprised if it's Kai Havertz, though, because Kai Havertz down the track could do that similar role. So, guys, that would be my lineup. It'll be Mendy, Reece James, Thiago Silva, Zuma, Chilwell, Jorginho, perhaps Billy Gilmour, Mason Mount, perhaps Kovacic. I think it'll probably be Mason Mount and Jorginho. And then Ziyech, Kalamutu-Ndoye as the inside forwards, and up front with Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham. It may possibly be Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, but I think it'll be Tammy Abraham. So, and I'm quite confident that we should be able to take care of Wolves in this particular match. So hopefully that's given you guys a bit of information as to how I would set up. Let's have a look at some of these comments again before we wrap things up, guys. Guys, please smash that like button. 31 of you guys, there was at one time 35 here. Please smash that like button. Get it up to close to 30 as people are coming through. And guys who've joined in now, please check back in the video before. I had Dave Azzopardi from Talking Wolves, the presenter there. He's got his own YouTube channel as well. It's all in the description. He gave us a lot of insight about the Wolves game, which was very, very interesting. Apparently, Podence is probably not going to be available for this game, and Raul Jimenez is already out. Podence created a lot of mess for us the last time they played us. So, yeah, that will be very interesting without Podence. Edward Denham, according to Absolute Chelsea, he has a minor leg injury. Yeah, man, Pulisic. You know, something's got to be done with this guy and his injury-prone history. And I just hope that this isn't anything major, as Edward said, that it's minor. Hopefully that, you know, it's just this match that he misses out and then he features in the next matches because we badly need him. Being Natalie, do you think Rudiger will start tomorrow? I think I've answered that. Look, I think he may, but I hope it is Zuma that starts. But I'm not going to be upset if Rudiger starts. To be honest, you know, we should have an open mind with the new manager in. Thomas Tuchel, Mason and Tammy won't be playing much now. Look, who knows? I don't know. We shall see what happens down the track. I think Thomas Tuchel's not going to probably come in and have this attitude that he's going to freeze, especially the likes of Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham, who've been quite heavily featured for our club. But there could be other fringe players that may just get the nod from Thomas Tuchel and be said that, you know, you're not going to be part of it. You reckon Mason Mount would be relegated to the bench now, or he could be Tuchel's Paredes at PSG? Look, Utkarsh, look, it could be. I don't know he'll be relegated to the bench, but at the same time, I can't put my hand on my heart and say that he's 100% going to be starter just the way he was for Frank Lampard. He's going to have to prove himself because Thomas Tuchel will bring a different ball here. So he definitely has to prove himself. I'm not going to be surprised if he's benched, to be honest. Honestly, I'm not going to be surprised. But yeah, as you said, you know, Tuchel's Paredes possibly could be. This is a really good one. Back the team, guys. 100% back the team. Let's take some more final messages here before we wrap things up. Guys, give me your score prediction. That'll be good to know just before we wrap things up. Let's have a look over here. Werner, since Tuchel was only given 18 months, what happens if we finish outside of top four? Look, I don't want to think too much yet outside of top four. Look, it'll probably be not the greatest season considering the amount of money Roman Abramovich has spent. It's, you know, we've gone backwards since last season. We finished fourth last season, and to finish outside of fourth this season will be a massive backward situation. I don't know what's going to happen with Tuchel because I think, guys, the biggest manager that Chelsea were sort of looking forward to was Nagelsmann from Leipzig. So if we finish outside of top four, I think it may be the end of Tuchel and we go for someone like Nagelsmann and start again, basically. So, yeah, but I'm confident that Tuchel will deliver top four for us and hopefully, you know, fulfills that 18 months contract. And I think there's in his contract that he's got the 1-year option as well. So let's see what happens in there. 4-4-2, Mendy, Aspilicueta, Rudiger, Zuma, Chilwell, Ziyech, Jorginho, Kovacic, Pulisic, Havertz, Werner. Yeah, look, that 4-4-2 could possibly become 4-2-2 as well. So, you know, 100% that could be a possibility as well. Tyrone, 3-5-2, Mendy, Rudy, Zuma, Silva, James, Shaw. Look, I don't know whether he's played 3-5-2 before. Look, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really sure whether he's actually played 3-5-2 previously for Dortmund or at PSG. So I'm not sure how much he's actually going to look into that. Let's have a look at this. Breaking ex-boxing legend Charlie is on his way to Stamford Bridge as player manager says he has what it takes. Fair enough, mate. And some final score prediction here. Everyone's gone with 3-1. Look, guys, I'm positive. I'm positive that we may even keep a clean sheet with no Podence, with no Raul Jimenez, with Willian Jose possibly not starting. It'll probably be Fabio. I don't know where the goals are really coming from besides Pedro Neto. And as Dave was saying previously in the show, from a Wolves point of view, they're possibly going to sit back and they'll be happy to take a point. Their form hasn't been that great either, and it's not like they've been going around and scoring a lot of goals. We haven't been scoring a lot of goals, and we've been leaking goals as well. But I feel like we could possibly get a clean sheet here and possibly go and get ourselves a 2-0 victory. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's 3-0. I'll be very, very happy with the 2-0 win. That'll be my score prediction, guys. 2-0 victory. But guys, that pretty much wrapped things up. Hope you guys enjoyed this preview. We've got a quick shout out here, 6-0. I was saying in Matisse's stream a couple of days ago when Frank Lampard was sacked that, don't be surprised if we all these players somehow just turn it up and then we just go out there and annihilate someone. But I don't know. This is a far-fetched one for me in terms of 6-0 victory. But guys, hope you all enjoyed this preview. As I said, please look back in the beginning of the preview. Had Dave as a party. All his information is in the description about Wolves' perspective. It'll be great for you guys to know how, what the Wolves fan base is thinking about. Please smash that like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, share with everyone else as well so more people get to know this particular channel. And yeah, guys, until next time, see ya.